Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of the TEXIT Accelerator. It is that time once a week where TEXIT advocates get together, our champions, and we learn about a brand new skill. And this week is a little bit different, right? Normally, this is a live stream that is just for volunteers, right? Activists in the organization. But tonight, because we have a very special episode, we decided, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and blow this out there everywhere. So many of you are maybe not familiar with the TEXIT Accelerator, right? You know, you're plugged into the TNM, you get our emails, you're on our social media, and all of a sudden you see this thing. What is TEXIT Accelerator? Well, tonight is your sneak peek, and hopefully tonight, if you've never experienced one, I would hope that you would be here week in and week out every Monday at 8 p.m. I am Daniel Miller, for those who don't know, president of the Texas Nationalist Movement, and the TEXIT Accelerator. Let me give you a little background on what the TEXIT Accelerator is. I think you're probably just like me. You want to see TEXIT happen sooner rather than later, right? And so what we do is every Monday night at 8 p.m., we take an opportunity to talk about the skills and the tactics and the strategies, all of the practical tips that you can use to help us get to TEXIT faster, right? So we do, have some occasionally have some discussion about some of the deeper dive on your TEXIT questions, but not generally on the TEXIT Accelerator. It's for people that are like, look, I got this, right? I'm in, but I want to do something. And so that's what TEXIT Accelerator does. Not only does it provide you with things, practical things you can do to help advance TEXIT, but it tells you the best and most efficient ways to get that thing done. So that being said, this week is a little bit special because what we are doing is, in the context of the TEXIT Accelerator, we are offering you a preview and a sneak peek into the TEXIT conference, which is coming up November 9th through the 12th in Waco. And if you need more information about that, head to TEXITconference.com, find out all that information. But we're going to get into some of that tonight, of course. Before we get started, and I talk about specifically what we're going to go over tonight and bring on our super special guests from the organization, just a review. Look, if you guys have not been over to the TNM news site, you need to go make that happen. Make that a priority. If for those of you out there who are thinking, well, what is the TNM doing? Well, go take a look. Trust and believe. Everything that we are up to, almost everything we're up to, is over there right now. You can go to news.tnm.me and find out. And I'm going to share a milestone with you. I love it when I get to kick these things off with a milestone that actually directly applies to every one of you. If you're a volunteer, if you're a supporter, whatever it is. Probably tomorrow, we will be announcing that we have hit the significant milestone of 6,000 events, right? 6,000. If you go look at the main page on TNM.me right now, I think we're probably 2 away. And I suspect some of our local leaders are out there just waiting to get their events put in this evening. I think probably some of them want to, I think they may be jockeying so they can actually be number 6,000. But I mean, you think about the sheer volume of public engagement opportunities and events that's 6,000 events. 6,000. And according to the opposition, remember, they don't think we're ever out there. I'm maybe looking at you, SREC member Rolando Garcia. The fact of the matter is, you can't conduct 6,000 events if people aren't there to see and hear what you have to say. So kudos to everyone over that very long stretch of time that have taken the opportunity to organize, to participate, to come out to the events, to volunteer for those events. A very sincere thank you from everyone here at the TNM. Congratulations, guys. I mean, it's a huge milestone. It's huge. All right. Before we get kicked off, let me just go give you a little bit of a rundown of what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about, as I stated earlier, the TEXIT conference. We're going to be talking about what it is, why it's important, what you're going to learn from it, what as a movement we all gain from having a successful TEXIT conference, and more importantly, very specific things that you can do to help make the TEXIT conference a success. So with that, I am going to bring on our guests for tonight and hand the baton to them until a little bit later in the broadcast. Our volunteer coordinator, Lori Bronig, our executive director, Nate Smith, and our chief of staff, Daphne Armour. Hello, everyone. It's like the Brady Bunch. There are four squares.
Good
evening.
Well, okay. So tonight, Lori, we're talking TEXITCon, right?
That's right. I could talk all night on it, so you might have to like shut me up at some point.
Well, look, I mean, I guess the question is, are you going to go longer than Game 7 of the playoffs? I mean, that's all. I mean, I think that's really the question on everybody's mind.
People might tune out.
Speaking of, where is David? Where is David?
Well,
how much of your bandwidth is he using?
That's right. He is watching the game. I have to tell you that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's go talk about TEXITCon.
All right. Well, very good. One of the things that I really wanted to stress, obviously, is just how important this is. So that's why we have tonight Daphne Armour, our chief of staff, and Nate Smith, who is our executive director. And I'm going to kind of throw questions at you guys, and I'm going to ask you to answer them. But one of the biggest things is, can you explain to us, number one, what is TEXITCon and why is it so important? So I'll go to you first, Nate.
Yeah, so we're very excited about this event. I mean, this is a chance to do TEXIT in person in a big way. I know we're here with a lot of volunteers tonight, and y'all have been spending a lot of time out in the field at different big public events and fairs and rodeos and gun shows and those sort of things. They're hosted by other organizations, obviously, where we get to engage with the public. But this is our chance to bring together the people that support TEXIT into one room, where you have a chance to, network and get to experience time, not just with the great group of volunteers that you've got in your area, but actually, with TEXIT volunteers and activists and supporters and believers from across Texas. And well, you're even going to find out we're going to bring in some from across the world that are supportive of what we're doing at this event. So, this is the largest independence conference in North America. We're very excited about that. This is a way and presented in something like TNM has never done before. I mean, we've brought together for some training and some leadership type of things for like a one-day event. But the opportunity to have something, I mean, this is all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half day on Sunday. We have a welcome mixer on the 9th for Thursday for those that are coming into town early. So, I mean, this is a really large scale event, jam-packed with information, excitement, and all sorts of things that you're going to find. I'm ready. How about you?
Yeah, I know. I know both you and Daphne have been killing yourself trying to prepare for this. But one of the things that I always try to explain to everybody is like, it's things like this, right, that really give us our growth in activism, right? It's by being around all of these other people that really helps our movement. So one of the things I do want to throw out, Daphne, is how can an individual volunteer help us with this event? What are some of the things that they can do?
So individual volunteers can do multiple things. First of all, the best thing you can do, of course, is spread it by word of mouth, right? You have friends, you have family, you have people that maybe think like you. Maybe you just have people that you've talked to and, they don't really quite understand what you're doing over there with that TEXIT thing, or, you've told them a little bit about it. This would be a great event to bring them to, because I tell you what, they could certainly get educated, probably more than they could ever believe, about what TEXIT is, where we came from, who we are, what we're doing, how we're tied in across the state, the other people that, across other states that are also wanting to do what we're doing. And of course, like Nate mentioned earlier, even our worldwide efforts. As y'all know, Dr. Q, the two of you know Dr. Q anyway, maybe some of our listeners don't, but we have the world's best person that could possibly help us. He's helped 17 other countries gain their independence, and he helps the TNM. And it's really great to be able to announce, that he's going to be over here with us. So anyway, there's just multiple things that individuals can do. You could share this on your social media sites, which we highly encourage, because every one of us either have one or multiple most social media sites. And we have some of the templates out there that we've already posted. If you go and look us up on social media, if it's Facebook, Twitter, anything else, you can find those templates. Just simply repost them, encourage people to go. Also, we need more ticket sales, right? We always need more ticket sales. The more people we can get, the better off we are. So we encourage you to share that, to ask people to buy tickets. And guys, we slashed the tickets. They're cheap to come for a 3-day event now. Also, some of the other things, let's think about what you could do besides sharing it there. You could tell people, get involved. We also have a phone bank team we're about to spin up, and we could always use more people on the phones. Yes, you do got to call people and sell tickets, but we'll talk you through that. And you know what? If somebody tells you no, it's not a big deal. You just pick the phone up, call the next number. So don't be scared for that. So that's some of the things that our volunteers can do to help us, Lori.
Yeah, that is excellent. So I want to reiterate what Daphne was saying. Basically, she is letting you know that every single person that is listening on this call right now can actually have a role in our success. Daphne just named a multitude of different ways that you can help. Like she said, you can help with ticket sales. You can buy a ticket yourself. You could talk about it. You can post it on Facebook. You can help us find sponsors. You can help us find exhibitors. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There are just so many ways.
I need to touch on, Lori. I'm glad you mentioned the sponsors and exhibitors, because I didn't think about that. We still have spots we could sell. If people know people who have businesses that could use exposure to people that think and act like them, this would be a great place for them to buy an exhibit booth. And we can still sell them. We'll sell them up to about a week, until the conference, and we have plenty of room for that. Or if you have a business and you would like your name sponsored in a program or on a stage or a table at our gala, we have some sponsorship opportunities left too. And it's a great way, again, to get your business name out in front of people who believe like you do. There are people, right?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? The sponsorships range. I'm sorry, I'm not going to try to freak anybody out, because this can go all the way up to, very large companies, but the sponsorships range anywhere from, $1,000 up to $15,000. Now, certainly we don't expect anybody on this call to donate $15,000 or sponsor for $15,000. But you know what? You might know somebody that works for a very large company that would, and that would like the advertisement. But you know what? I also know many people that would be willing to if this was something they believed in, to donate $1,500. Right? I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that. So please talk it up. Talk it up. You might know somebody, and you might not even be, aware that you know somebody. Always talk it up. And part of this training tonight is going to explain to you how you can talk it up, right? We're going to give you some little things that you can say that for me, I'm extremely passionate about. So it is not necessarily a sales spiel to me. This is something I truly believe in. This is something I want to be at, and I want my friends to be at. So, with that, we'll actually kind of move to the next section, and that is what people can expect to learn there. We're going to talk about who some of the speakers are, and some of the things that they'll be talking about. So, hopefully, Nate or Daphne, one of you have the list in front of you of, at least to name a few of some of our esteemed speakers.
I think we both do. So, some of the great speakers, as we talked about, there's going to be multiple different speakers there. And, we're going to follow, like we always talk about, we do the political, economic, and cultural independence of Texas, as well as activism. So you're going to be able to go and learn over different topics, and you'll have a choice because we'll have speaker panels, we'll have breakout sessions and stuff like that. Nate, would you like to name some of the people that are coming?
Yeah, and I don't think we're even going to be able to list them all on this call because we have got a lot of great speakers for you. Daphne mentioned earlier Dr. Matt Kvortrup, or Dr. Q, as we affectionately call him, obviously our world's expert on independence referendums. That's an exciting one because he's coming from overseas. And as I mentioned, he's not our only overseas participant either. We're also very excited to host Graham Moore, who is from the English Constitution Party, who wants to see England regain its independence from the United Kingdom and from Great Britain. So, I think that's going to be fascinating to learn what they want to do. They're big supporters of us. They believe in self-determination and sovereignty. And so that's going to be exciting. We're also expecting some from other independence movements in this hemisphere. And so that's going to be exciting to hear about what's going on with their groups. We have everything from State Senator Bob Hall, which I think is a really, really cool person to have. I mean, he's current state senator for us, and he's going to be coming and talking about the very important issues to Texas sovereignty, which is election integrity. Yep. And I think a lot of us know that we want to hear where the status of that is and what we can do. Senator Hall had a slate of amazing bills in this last session, and not many of them got passed. And so, we're looking at the rest of our legislators and why they didn't support them, or even why the ones that he passed out of the Senate didn't get through the House and signed into law, because, as we all know, that regular session was very weak when it came to shoring up our election integrity. But he had another very important bill, too, that didn't get traction he's going to be talking to us about, and that's the grid security. I mean, we know that Texas had this vulnerability of our power grid, whether it's from EMP attacks, which if you're following the news right now and what's going on around the world, we're more susceptible to attack than we've ever been. But all the way to just mitigating the freeze and making sure that we have a balance of power on our grid and adequate generation sources, so that when things do put a stress on it, like unusual, like 50 or 100-year low temperatures for an extended period of time in Texas, that we have the capacity to handle that on our grid. So I think that's an exciting topic. He's not the only one that goes into that spectrum too. We've got Matt Code from the Texas Oil and Gas Workers Association going to be talking about the strength of Texas oil and gas industry. We're also going to have some folks talking about our renewable energy and even nuclear energy and what role that plays in. Clay Montgomery is going to be talking to us as a nuclear energy analyst. I think that's very exciting. We've got cultural folks here to talk to us. I mean, you notice I'm getting into a lot of areas that aren't even about necessarily the referendum on TEXIT. We're talking about those different areas of our mission, the political, cultural, and economic, and how all those fit in, right? So we've got some cultural folks. We have Dr. Richard Fossey, who's coming over, and he's got a UT law degree, been a professor in Louisiana for many, many years, retired now, and he has tremendous perspective on Texas culture. I was kind of surprised. He was telling me he wants to share with us too about Texas music. So he's got a depth of knowledge about how Texas music has influenced the rest of the world. I could keep going, but I'm gonna take a break and let Daphne share some with them too, because she knows there's a lot of them I haven't even gotten to yet.
Yes, we also have Joanne Fleming from Grassroots America, and Joanne is very well known across multiple organizations throughout Texas. She's been in Texas politics for years, and she's going to come and explain to us a lot of things about activism within Texas and Texas politics and what goes on up at the Capitol and how you can get more involved like that. Also, Julie McCarty from True Texas Project will be here to speak with us. We have Marshall Watson. We have, Now, Nate did that after I flipped off of the screen that had the list on it, because I thought he was going to go down it all. So Nate, hit the rest of it, because I don't have it in front of me, and I don't want to say the wrong person.
That's all right. I'll keep going.
That's okay. Go ahead, Nate.
I was going to say the ones you're covering in that, like the really powerful grassroots activists we have. I mean, Joanne Fleming's going to talk to us about coalition building. She's not only has a great group, the Grassroots America with the People, but she's also helped form the Texas Coalition of Grassroots Conservatives, which brings together just dozens and dozens of conservative organization leaders, and which directly relates to the TNM. This is one of the things that we're excited about as TEXITCon as a whole. Is over the years we've been building relationships with these other organizations and these other groups, and this is a chance for us to be able to work together with them and learn from their successes and what they've done. So I think learning how someone has built these grassroots coalitions helps us learn how to do that as well, and how to continue to grow our reach within the TNM. And a lot of people will benefit from that. You were talking about Marsha Watson. She's with Citizens Defending Freedom, and she's got some great topics to talk to us about state government and those types of things, as well as I think she's covering the border security. Isn't that right, Daphne? They're
Yes,
doing border press event that they've got going on. I think she's down there right now, actually getting us the latest scoop of how vulnerable and exposed we are on our Texas border, and bringing that report right back to TEXITCon. Margaret Byfield is with American Standards for Liberty. She's going to be talking about the Stop 3030 program, which is this program by the federal government that's ultimately part of the UN 2030 agenda, and how they want to come in and they want to federalize a lot of Texas land. And the federal government already owns about 27% of the land in the U.S., right? But it's a very tiny percentage in Texas. Well, they want to grow that all the way to 30% in Texas. So, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are planning on giving up your lands to the whims of the federal government, but I think that's something we want to hear a little bit about. And that also applies to our farmers and our food. So a lot of really, really interesting information when it comes to that. And I know a lot of you guys too are worried about the legislative side of things. Going, hey, that's great. I know there's all these issues going on. I have all these concerns in the world. I want to learn more about the depth of those types of things. But I'm also kind of curious, like, how are we going to get this stuff through the legislature? How are we going to get the Texit bill passed by the legislature so that we can have a vote on it? And have some great news there too. We've got one of our favorites, former Representative Kyle Biederman, who filed the Texas Independence Referendum Act for the first time in the 2021 legislative session. So we're very excited to have him. We have former State Rep George Lavender, former State Rep David Simpson. They're all going to be talking about this federal overreach and how difficult it is to maintain it, but also some tips and tricks and how we can continue to be more effective in Austin to get not only our Texas Independence Referendum Act passed, but how to be more effective at getting other key legislation passed, and how to give Texans our sovereignty back by stopping this federal overreach where they've gone outside the bounds of the Constitution. I know there's a lot of it already.
I don't know how much more you want to keep going. We've got a lot of speakers.
No, hey, I just wanted to give a teaser.
Oh,
yeah, that was like about half of them.
I mean, when you have this kind of lineup, you don't want to stop, right? I mean,
I know.
Weston Martinez, who's going to be talking to us about the border and election integrity as well. Really great activists in Texas. We've got an entire track on the economic side of things. We're going to be featuring speakers about a lot about cryptocurrency. We're going to have Matt Frazier and Brandon Davis here from the Texan Token. I believe Sam Kemp may even be sitting in on one of the sets with them, our own Sam Kemp from the TNM. And so we're excited. They're going to be teaching us not only about Texan Token. If you happen to have some of that already, it'll teach you kind of how to use it, because I know there's a lot of nuances, a lot of brand new for a lot of folks, and kind of not just how that can apply to future economic sovereignty and security of Texas, but also how you can utilize it right now to help with your own personal independence and sovereignty, and the ways that can turn around and ultimately benefit the mission of the TNMs. Because if y'all know anything about this Texan token, it's a cryptocurrency, and they created this token with the specific purpose of helping attain Texas independence. But we've got even Jonathan Labar of the Texas Bitcoin Project. We've got Augustine Gohill from MMAI and other blockchain projects. So we've got some really cool opportunities for you to learn about an area that a lot of you may not know a lot about. I know I'm excited to learn more about that. So that goes into our economic side of the security. And then we've got one more big one I'm going to mention too. We have Dr. Steve Turley, who is just an extremely well-known influencer and talk show host. If you've seen any of his stuff on YouTube, he's got around 1.5 million viewers across all of his channels. I mean, just truly amazing audience. He's super excited to be at TEXITCon, which I love. Not that all of our speakers aren't excited to be here, but sometimes, especially when you get those ones that have those really large audiences, you're kind of hoping that they're not just a little excited, but that they're really excited. And trust me, he is pumped up. His team is pumped up. They've been in touch with us so many times about how they can get here and how they can make the biggest impact and success at TEXITCon. It's just a real pleasure to be able to do that. And Daniel Miller's been on his show. He's been on Daniel Miller's show. It's really great to be able to have that kind of camaraderie.
I feel like I'm best friends. I feel like I'm best friends with them now. I speak with one of his administrators like on a daily basis. I can't wait till she gets here so I get to meet her. I mean, this is how cool this is. That this is no small thing. You have named people that, literally have me at the edge of my seat. I can't wait to get there. And I can't wait. I'm one of those people that I have this constant thirst for information, right? I can't wait to get there, because as I was helping to just get the few speakers that I was involved with, the little snippets that they gave me, I was like, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get there and hear them. And I was listening to Steve Turley talk on Daniel's show, and Dr. Steve Turley was as excited as a little kid, saying he can't wait for how much he's going to learn when he gets here. So it's just, honestly, if you can't tell how excited I am, well, there's something wrong with you. But I think that's the way we all feel. This is going to be big. And this is going to be big. And, in my mind, I truly believe that we may never, ever have this many leaders in self-determination, in freedom, in liberty, and as well as legislative experts that are informing us on federal government overreach, all in one place at this incredibly low price. We'll never have an opportunity like this again, in my opinion. This is something that's so huge. I can't wait to get there, and I don't want any of my friends to miss it. So, I know there's so much more that we can say on it, but I do want to move to just a next little topic, and that is, how else can people help promote this event? So, Daphne, I'm gonna go to you, because you are always so eloquent when it comes to really helping people encapsulate, just in a few sentences. Here's what you should tell people to generate the excitement. So, I'm gonna go to you for that.
Okay. Well, we kind of already touched on that subject a little bit earlier about, talking to your friends, neighbors, family. That I've trained y'all to just never shut up, right? You just always have to keep your mouth open, and you have to constantly talk to people. I don't care where you're at. You should be talking to people about Texas independence. And my rule is, if it's a 3-foot rule, if they're within 3 foot or earshot of you, then you have a right to talk to them, because this is for every Texan, right? It's not just for a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, or anything, because, we're really nonpartisan. And this is about Texas, and this is about our future. And you've probably heard me say more than one time, the state of the nation, the state that we are in right now, that's on our shoulders. We're the ones who did this. We're the ones who allowed this to happen, right? So we know that TEXIT is the only solution out there. We know that. We know that without hesitation. And anytime that you hear me speak anywhere, or I'm anywhere, I always tell you guys I'm an unapologetic Texas nationalist, because I am. I don't apologize for it. I'm very proud of that. But so you have to make sure when you're talking to people that comes through. But again, you want to be where the cool people are, right? You want to just simply invite people. If they're curious about it, tell them this is the best exposure that they could ever get, because it's what you just said. Everybody's under one roof talking about it. So that's how you invite people when you're talking to your friends and neighbors, like, oh my gosh, Lori, you've got to come with me. I know you're interested in Texas independence. You don't understand how many speakers. There's all kind of things that you could learn. You can learn about, political, cultural, economic things going on in Texas. You just have to be excited about it when you talk to them, because enthusiasm catches on, right? And people want to be where you want to be, and people don't want to be left out. And, it's kind of like if you're going to a cool concert, you don't want to be left out of the concert. You want to go too. And it's at an incredibly low price because we got the tickets down so that people could come. And, one other thing I want to touch on that real quick, because I didn't say it a while ago, but I've had a couple of emails come back, and you might face this in the field, and that's why I want to share it. I've had a couple of emails come back in, and really more than a couple, and they're like asking me, well, why are y'all charging? Why isn't this free? Why would you charge for that? This is so expensive. What else? So let's just touch on that real quick, because, unfortunately, guys, independence isn't free. It just isn't. It costs money. It costs us money to run this organization. It costs us more money than you probably realize to run this organization. But when we put on a big conference like this, we had to rent the convention hall for 4 days, right? We had to rent more than one room. There is a cost associated to renting those huge halls that we had to go and rent. We have to have decorations. We have to have sound equipment. There's equipment that we have to rent in order to run sound on every stage. We have to have people to operate those. We have to have signage. We have to have lanyards. There's so many things behind the scenes when you put on a big conference like this that have to be purchased with money. And, unfortunately, yes, the TNM has money, operating money that we operate on, because this is donors give us our money. We don't have George Soros out here funding us. I assure y'all, if you hear that or read that in the news, that's wrong. It doesn't happen. I promise. And so we just take in donations to help run the organization. So then when we have to put on conferences and things like that, well, we have to charge ticket prices, right? That's why we're also looking for those sponsorships and everything, because that's what helps to pay for all of this. So if you run into that and people ask you, well, why does it cost so much money? Well, because there's a cost associated with it, and we have to cover those costs so that we're not pulling this out of our general operating fund. So that's the answer. And I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know that, sometimes people just, sometimes maybe they may ask the questions and they don't really stop to think about it. Oh, well, yeah, I guess Waco just didn't want to give us the convention hall for free. I wish they would, but it just doesn't happen that way. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. But yes, by all means, ask all your friends and family.
Yeah, I'll add one more thing on that note too. A lot of people look at the TNM and in the same vein of cost and even fundraising, and they look at us and go, I've been to your website. We've seen you have this tremendous number of supporters. You're the third largest political advocacy group in the state of Texas, behind the Republican and Democrat Party. If every one of those people just gave $1, you'd have a pretty good budget. But I have to tell you, all those nearly 500,000 supporters we have, guess what? They're not dues-paying members. The dues-paying members are a fraction of that. Unfortunately, it's the reality of the way some of these things go, right? And not all of them are donors either. I wish everybody had given $1. I wish, half of them would give $1. It would make a big deal, but a huge difference in our mission and what we can get across the finish line, So you'll see some ask course around that, but understand that with any organization, if you go look at the number of people that support the work that they're doing, a small fraction of those are the ones that are given, that are making the difference. I mean, you can go look. I saw Elon Musk making fun of Wikipedia's giving campaign the other day, and Wikipedia says the same thing. We have all these people that enjoy our Wikipedia services, and only a tiny amount of them donate. We need your money. It's the same type of thing, right? And not everyone who goes and visits the TNM website and says, I love Texas, I love what you're doing, let me sign a piece of paper that says I support it. Guess what? Just like all those visitors to Wikipedia, they don't all stop in and go by the donation page and make a donation either. So understand when we're doing things like this too, it's not because we're coming to you with, oh, well, we just have these huge budgets because we have 500,000 people giving us all this money and we're just asking for more and more and begging for more. No, this is things that we need to get the job across the finish line. I mean, you'll probably see some emails coming out from this week, and we sent some last week. We're talking about how, for example, fundraising for the petition effort and the campaign. We're doing that. I mean, you guys are volunteers. A lot of y'all on this call, you know about that, right? And we get emails in, hey, why does it say it costs like $2 to get a petition signature? Well, guess what? It does. Whether we're supporting the efforts of our folks in the field, providing them with training, providing them with resources, or whether we're taking out online advertising to try to help get those signatures across the finish line and bring people to our site. All those things have to connect. Just like those 500,000 people, surprisingly, they don't all give $1. Guess what? We can't even get all of them back to even sign a petition. They come to our site, sign up, say that we like you, and we beg for them to come back and sign a petition, make it easy, put it online, and they don't even do that, right? So it takes a lot of work. We need your help with this. It takes money too. That's the reason why there's a cost associated with TEXITCon. Trust me, this is not trying to line anybody's pockets or make anything big. We're just trying to do what it can to get the ball closer and get this across the finish line for TEXIT. So we appreciate your help on that and your understanding. And hopefully that adds some clarity, because a lot of people just don't know. And so if you were in that ballpark, and you look at those numbers on the site and it didn't make sense to you, hopefully now you have an understanding of how that really works, that is not the number of donors on our site, right? That is not the number of people that are there going, tell me what I can do. I'm willing to help in any way possible. There's not 500,000 people saying that. There's 500,000 people that have said, I love what you're doing. If you put a vote on TEXIT tomorrow, I would vote on that. And then guess what? They quit answering our emails and quit watching them because their inboxes are full, right?
Right.
So here's one way you can help us reach new people or reach those people even.
Yes.
We have social media channels, and we're posting things about TEXITCon and other things that we do. This doesn't just apply to TEXITCon. This is an activism method that you can use. When you're going to look on our Facebook, you'll see speaker announcements. We announced a new one today. Our own Claver Kamal, super excited to have him speaking at TEXITCon. So we make those announcements. So you find a post about a new speaker announcement on our Facebook, on our Twitter, or X, Instagram. Go like those, first of all. Likes and engagement helps more people see it without us having to pay money to boost it. The more you like it, the more people see it. Mm-hmm. Share them or repost them, as they say on Twitter now. In fact, you can do it in multiple ways. Not only repost them, a direct is great, but it's also great to take it, and whether you share it or you repost it, add your own comment about why you're excited about TEXITCon. And look, if you personally can't go to TEXITCon because you have a conflict that weekend, or there's just some reason that there's no way you can get there, you can still help promote the event. That's still a way that you can contribute. And one of these things, by engaging with others, whether it's in person or online and social media, that is a huge help. So make your own statement about why you wish you could be there. And this is going to be an amazing event. And you can show up if you're one of those that can't make it. All these things are a huge help to us. They help create that buzz, they help create that boost. Use the hashtag TEXITCon, TEXITCON. Use hashtag TEXITCon when you're making a post. Help people be able to find other people that are sharing about it. What am I missing, Daphne? What are other ways that they can help share and promote that?
One of the things. So, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt real quick. One of the things we want to make sure that you also, put our link in there, right? Put in the, we've got it streaming across the bottom here, right? Put in TEXIT conference, right? Put the link in so you can make it easy for people that do want to come, right? They're going to go to TEXIT conference at TEXITconference.com. And that way people can click on it, and then, they can get straight to it and buy a ticket. So that's very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the way you have to do it, because we want them to go and find out where the tickets are, right? So they can go to the right budget and purchase the tickets.
Right. Additionally, there was just one thing that I wanted to add, and that is, I want to make sure that everybody understands, we all have this common enemy, and that is mainstream media, right? Mainstream media, we're all aware, they are nothing but a propaganda machine. And as a propaganda machine, they would like nothing better than to go around and say that Texans do not want Texas independence. Right? They would love to be able to tout that. Well, when we have a packed house and we have these 50 some odd speakers that we have, and we have exhibitor booths, and we are packing out a convention center, it's going to be really, really hard for them to say that Texans don't want Texas independence. So,
Right.
Please, I am begging you guys, let's talk it up. Let's get people there. Let's do what we can, but let's make sure that we are wildly successful so that the mainstream media is actually radio silent, because trust me, that's what they will be. They will not want to report on the fact that we were wildly successful. So let's just shut them up. And Daniel's telling me it's time for me to shut up.
It's like I'm the ombuds. Look, and I hit the schedule right at the time. Right at the time.
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay, so look, just to piggyback off what you guys were talking about just then, just so we're clear, anyone, perhaps maybe you're a Bernie Sanders voter and you're wondering why we're charging for tickets, understand that the Waco Convention and Visitors Bureau does not take hot checks.
That's right.
Right?
They don't. They don't.
Unfortunately, they don't take Texan token yet either, but we're working on that.
They don't barter. None of that. I mean,
Nope.
Nate offered to play the guitar at all of their events for free, and they even wouldn't do that. So, people sacrifice themselves. All right, guys. Well, look, I'm excited about the event. I'm ready to see these speakers. I'm as excited, I think, as they are. And I will tell you, to say, kind of piggyback off what Lori said. I think every one of the speakers that I've talked to is just bouncing about this event. I mean, they are just excited.
Mm-hmm.
The electeds, the academics, the grassroots folks. I mean, everyone who is participating in this is just going nuts with excitement. So, my pitch I'll save till later, but right now we got to move on. Daphne, Nate, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Lori, you know what time it is, right?
My favorite time. It's my favorite time.
Okay, Lori, it is your favorite time for the TEXIT Accelerator.
Yes, sir.
Tell us who our champs are. Give it to us.
All right. So our local coordinator champion of this week, you've heard me say her name before, but it is Stacy Polly. Stacy was out at the Floresville Fall Fest, and she got over 100 petition signatures. So I have to tell you, Stacy is killing it, y'all. She's out there just killing it. And then this week I do have an honorable mention, and it is our honorable mention volunteer goes to Scott Wilson. Now you've heard that name because we had Scott Wilson as our champion last week. But Scott, I think everyone really appreciates what you're doing because you were nominated once again. So thank you very much. But I do have to say that our volunteer champions are Ceci Francischini and Carl Gleim. Now, they both drove over 100 miles to go and help Stacy at the Fall Fest. And like I said, they helped her collect over 100 petition signatures, or collectively they got 100 petition signatures. There's one other thing I wanted to say about Carl Gleim. I happened to look at the leaderboard today, and Carl Gleim has 459 petition signatures. All right, let's go team. That is so great. So congratulations to Ceci and Carl. Thank you both very, very much. You are truly, truly appreciated. And I have to tell you guys, it takes an effort like that for us to be able to get it done. I really am hoping to see that we have loads and loads of people that have over 400 petition signatures. So this is an exciting time for us, and it really takes each and every one of you to get out there and help us. So speaking of that, I'm going to tell you about a couple of statewide outreaches that we have, where you might be able to go out and collect a bunch of petition signatures, just like Carl Gleim. So let's see. We have the Abilene Gun and Knife Show. Oh no, that was last weekend. Sorry, that was on the 21st. So we're down to only about 3 big events. So you know what it means? It means that the fairs and festival season is starting to come to an end. So we have, let's see, we've got the Big Texas Gun Show in Dripping Springs, and that's on 10/28. And then we have the Lone Star Rally in Galveston, and that is on November 2nd. And I believe that goes November 2nd through November 5th. So that's one I think we could really use some additional help with. So again, if you happen to be in those areas, if you happen to be near Dripping Springs, or you happen to be near Galveston, we could use your help. And remember, use my email address, Lori, LORI.Brunig, BREUNIG at thetnm.org, and I will give you all of the particulars so that you can meet us at these events. But again, I said, fair and festival season is starting to come to an end. So that means it's time to go out and grab a friend, grab your clipboard, and go clipboarding at a mall, wherever you think there will be a crowd. But I got to tell you, you need to have a strategy, you need to have a plan, and you need to have a goal. Set a daily goal, set a weekly goal. You know, like Daphne was saying, hey, you should be talking to 3 people a day. Set a goal, guys. We need you to have a goal. And like I say, every single solitary week, I don't want you to have a hopium habit. While hope is a powerful motivator, hope is not a strategy. So we need to make sure that y'all have strategy and that you're working your plan.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm excited. I think our people are out there making it happen. Our volunteers are tearing it up every week. We've got great war stories. So yeah, you get the best part of the Text Accelerator, Lori. I'm just saying.
I love my job.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Lori, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. That means it is now time for well, ladies and gentlemen, we are wrapping up our first ever, I think, sort of public TEXIT Accelerator live stream. And for those of you that have never participated in one before, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You know, even just for me to feel comfortable, I had my coffee, so it sort of felt like coffee talk, maybe. But it's good to be with you again on a very public live stream. And folks, be sure to take into account what they talked about tonight. You know, it's while they talked about it in the context of sharing the word about the TEXIT conference, it goes for everything, right, that we're doing here in the T&M. And if you want to understand a very clear, if you want a clear example of why we ask you to be active in promotion, I'll give you the perfect example that happened, oddly enough, over the TEXIT Accelerator tonight. We did what we normally do. We get it ready to, for everyone to get on live, get it all scheduled, send out an email, and lo and behold, here we go. A few hours later, Lori, that you just saw, starts messaging. She's saying, hey, everybody, be sure to check your spam because our email service providers are dumping the TEXIT Accelerator email in spam boxes, right? So for us, or for folks out there looking at us, they look at that number of registered supporters and they think, wave a wand, boom, it's done. They think we're the Borg, Star Trek reference for you folks, that we can just instantly communicate with no gatekeepers, no interruptions, but understand it still happens and it happens all the time. And so we can send out 20 emails to a person and they may never get a single one of them. And so it's incumbent upon us to communicate through every channel that we have. And honestly, the most reliable channel that we could have would be you. You making sure that you are communicating and amplifying and sending it out, because while they can block things coming from us, they can't necessarily block things that come from all of us, at least not without getting sued. Am I right, Zuckerberg? Am I right? Right? So the bottom line here is, folks, enough about that part of it. The TEXIT conference, what you heard tonight, this snippet, this preview, this overview, it should help you understand why the TEXIT conference is so doggone important. It's the Bidenomics aspect of this is one of the reasons that we dropped the ticket price, right? We are cognizant of the fact that it's probably going to cost us way more than we're going to take in on ticket prices to put on this conference. But we believe that it's so important that we're willing to take a bit of a hickey if you will move heaven and earth to be there, because we're bringing in some of the best, most top-notch speakers across an entire spectrum of thought about self-determination, self-government, TEXIT, the economy, politics, culture, across all of it. We're bringing the heat, folks. This conference is happening. And, they say this field of dreams thing, if you build it, they will come. Well, look, we had been hammered for years by many of you to put on a statewide conference on the TEXIT issue. And now here it is. We're doing our part. And so now we need you to help to be there, to get others there to help us promote it. Because I got to tell you, the mainstream media will do everything they can to spike the ball on this thing if you don't show up. And you see, that's what the opposition is banking on, not just with this conference, but with TEXIT in general. They look at those poll numbers and say, cool, 66% of likely Texas voters will vote yes for TEXIT. But will they? Will they turn out? Will they do it? Well, things like this, very public shows of support, like the TEXIT conference, are good opportunities to basically rub their nose in it and say, yes, as TEXIT supporters, we will turn out. Now, granted, we're not trying to put 10,000 people in this place. We don't have the room for it. But what we are trying to do is get everyone who sincerely loves Texas and wants to see us self-governing, independent, to be there. And I would hope that's you, because if you're participating in the TEXIT Accelerator tonight, I think that shows a good bit about who you are. You see, the TEXIT Accelerator is reserved for our champions, the people who want TEXIT to happen sooner rather than later. It's a carve out for our champions who want to hone their skills and learn how they can be more effective. And right now, at this very moment, there is no better way to hone your skills and be more effective than going to TEXITCon, to go to the TEXIT conference. So I'm going to urge you tonight, if you are a member already, I want you to go check your spam folder, because you should have already received a discount code. Yes, we cut the price on the tickets. Lori said it earlier, because we're going to meet you halfway. But for those people that are members of the Texas Nationalist Movement, that are our dues payers, you actually got a coupon code that just even slashes that further. So go check your email. It's there. And maybe it's in your spam folder, right? And if you're not a member, now's a great time to go make that happen. You can go take advantage of the brand new membership plans, right? By going to member.tnm.me and then get your discount code for TEXITCon, right? Or let's say, hey, I don't care what the price of the tickets are. Maybe I can't go. Well, go make a contribution and help somebody else go, right? If you can't go, fund a ticket for somebody who just can't even get it at the rock bottom price, and help us get as many TEXIT supporters there. Help us make somebody's day, right? There's lots of ways to do it. So as soon as we wrap this up tonight, I want you to go to TEXITconference.com and go take care of business. Because when I'm out there bragging on all of y'all, I tell folks that you take care of business. So now is your chance. Go take care of business. All right, friends, that is going to be a wrap for the TEXIT Accelerator tonight. A reminder, if you have not volunteered already, head to tnm.me/volunteer. Stick your hand in the air. Let's get her done. And also, you heard Lori bragging about our petition circulators. Well, it's not too late. You can be one, right? You can share digitally if you'd like. We've got that availability on the website. But if you want to help us collect paper petition signatures, first step, go to tnm.me/BACPC, Certified Petition Circulator. You sign up, fill out the form, you finish a little short course, and then boom, you are ready to rock and roll. And of course, all things related to the TEXIT petition over at TEXIT Petition Central. Head to tnm.me/TPC. And just a quick reminder, in case you don't get those emails, in case your email service provider is one of those that likes to put tape over our mouths, TEXIT Accelerator is every Monday night at 8 p.m. And I mean every Monday night at 8 p.m. So do not miss it. And look, now is a good opportunity. If you head over to the TNM News site at news.tnm.me and go look under the podcast section, you will find all of the previous episodes of TEXIT Accelerator, and you are going to learn an awful lot. Go back and watch them and spend some time, dig around there, find cool things, but you're going to find all those podcasts, including my older episodes of Late Night Coffee Talk, which be watching for an announcement about that coming out. I know a lot of you guys have been emailing me about it, but be watching for an announcement because it is coming back. It'll be different, but it will still be late. It will still be at night, and it will still have coffee, and there will still be talking. So, I mean, really, is it that much different? All right. Well, folks, that is a wrap for tonight. It is time to put this bad boy to bed. You guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit notification bells, do all those cool things. And go be sure to volunteer because that's how you get notifications about the TEXIT Accelerator. But tonight, I leave you with the words that I leave you with every time we're together. They're not my words. They're the words of Sam Houston when he said that Texas will again lift its head and stand among the nations. I believe that time is now, and the question is, will you stand with her? Good night, everyone.